Hi, what's good? Hey guys, it's me Courtney and welcome to my channel. Before we get to today's video, I want to make a few disclaimers. Yes, my hair color is fading and it's growing back. There's stuff going on. It looks crazy, needs to be washed. We're going to ignore that. 2, the lip combo, right? Get into it. I did use a dark liner BFF4 from Colourpop and I blended that in with another liner. It's Brown Sugar from Kylie. And I went in with eyeshadow. Now, the same eyeshadow that I used, these are the Fenty Beauty shadow sticks. I mentioned these today specifically because it kind of goes along with the theme of the video. When these came out, I wasn't really a fan. I don't like how they kind of blend away on my eyelids, at least. Today I did use them, but I put other colors on top to make it actually stay. I think I like these for everything except actual eyeshadow. So the highlight that you see that I have going on is the shadow stick, and it kind of gives everything a nice glow. It's on the inner corner too. I did put it on my lips, and then on top of it I went in with Bronze Temptation from Pat McGrath. Anyways, so all that aside, I have been cleaning out my makeup room over and over. I cleaned it before we moved, I cleaned it after we moved, I've cleaned it again recently when I moved stuff around. And this last go round of like kind of purging some of the makeup, I really had to do some soul searching with what I was actually gonna wear, what I wasn't gonna wear, what I was keeping for nostalgia. And some products I do truly love, but again, am I actually gonna use it again type of thing. Sometimes I keep products on deck just because like I like to compare to newer products that might come out, or I simply keep products because I'm trying to like them. So that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get into the video. No judgment for how long I've had some of this makeup. A lot of it is very, very gently used, meaning I used it maybe for a week, like especially if it's foundation. I use foundations for at least a week when I do my reviews. So it's like a week wear, and then it possibly got used once or twice, or never got used again. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's been time to throw these out, and once I do this video, I'm done with them. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get into it. No judgments, okay? I know I'm not the only one that keeps makeup way longer than they need to. All right, so I'm gonna start with foundations just because that's pretty much what I have like the bulk of. And the first foundation I'm gonna start with is the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. This one had been used for a while. I cannot tell you when I got this, but it was a minute ago. It had to be years. Again, no judgment. Now, this is a foundation. I got it in the shade Butter Pecan. And when I did get this shade, it was when I definitely was in the sun. I think quite possibly this is the tannest I have ever gotten that this shade worked perfect. But this is the shade, and I know it still kind of looks like it would work, and I can always make a darker foundation work for me personally, rather than a lighter one. But that being said, this no longer suits my untanned skin. And because I stay in the house more and all of the things, the shade just doesn't work. If I'm being honest, most of the foundations that I keep, I do like, right? If I've had it for all of these years, I know that I have liked it. I will link if I did a review so you can know what my actual feelings were when I used it. But again, this is one that I've been keeping and have not picked up for at least, for a minute. And I also feel like the Too Faced Soft Matte foundation that they had at one point was better than this one anyway. Not that it's bad, it's the shade ain't gonna do it. But honestly, it's just, I'm past it. You know what I mean? Next foundation. The next foundation is the Clinique Even Better Makeup Broad Spectrum SPF 15 foundation. This is another foundation to me that I liked at the time. I don't think it's a bad purchase. It was an impulse buy, I think. I don't think anybody requested it or anything like that. I was just kind of curious. Like I always see in Ulta, like the Clinique aisles and stuff like that, and I feel like it's been around for so long that I've been curious, and I think that's why I picked this up. It is a good foundation. It's kind of like moussey in texture. The shade does fall along the same, a little bit darker lines for me, but I will say again, I always do prefer a darker foundation as long as it has the same undertones as me. I can kind of play with it a little bit. Lighter foundations, I don't like feeling like a ghost. You know what I mean? I don't like my skin looking ghostly. It is not a bad foundation at all. It does have SPF, and that's another thing. The SPF sometimes make your foundation look even more pale depending on which foundation it is. I'm holding on to it like I'm gonna use it, and like one part of me wants to keep it specifically because, like, let's say I go on vacation, I can just keep this in my makeup bag. And again, I'm trying to talk myself back into it, but we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. It's time to get rid of it. I have not used it, but for the video that I made, and I did enjoy it, and I'll even wear it a little bit after that video, but it's like once I buy the next foundation, is this better than that next one? You know what I mean? And I just don't think it was, otherwise I would've went back to it. You know what I mean? Some of these products are good, but I just have so many. And if it's been over a year, it probably needs to go, and a lot of this has been over a year. Speaking of over a year, and products that are actually really, really good, because I remember I really like this foundation. This is the Smith & Co. Veiled Thread Weightless Micro Blurring Foundation. I believe I really, really enjoyed this foundation. I like the way it looks. It was super duper lightweight and it was blurring. Again, I'm going off memory. There'll be videos. I have a whole list of videos if you want like the actual scoop on like all the details and me kind of doing the nuances, the good, the bad, and everything like that. I got the shade 380 Warm. The truth is, like, I don't even know if Smith & Co. still exists. I looked it up, especially when I was thinking about throwing this away. It's one of those Ulta brands that like pop up out of nowhere and you're like, ooh, what's that? And then one day they're just not there. Yeah, it's like one of those obscure brands, but I really did enjoy it. I never tried anything else from Smith & Co. This was it. Ooh, will she come out? Yeah, she's thicky thick. Now this, I don't know if on camera it's gonna look darker, but it's actually light. Yeah, apologize for my dog in the back. He's waiting on his food and we have to cook it. I think I remember mentioning that it smells like paint. Still does. And as you can kind of see, I don't know if you guys can see that, but on the outer edge it's kind of drying down a little bit. So this one is one of those oxidization? Why does that sound weird? Oxidizing formulas. So this is gonna dry down a little bit different. This was definitely at a time where full coverage was like the thing to wear, which reminds me of the next one I'm gonna look at. It was just at a different time. These days I know the girls like light makeup, no makeup makeup. Even today I'm wearing a tinted moisturizer, trying out a tinted moisturizer. And I get the call, but I do miss this era. It holds such a place in my heart. And like even now that I'm like, girl, it's been years, it's time to throw it away. I still almost don't want to because I really do, one, miss this era of makeup and like the full beats, but also it's like, oh, it's a good foundation. But again, I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of it now. A foundation that has definitely been, I wanna say it's been discontinued just based on the company as a whole. This is the KVD or Kat Von D Lock-It Foundation. I was feeling nostalgic and I saw it. So this is actually more of a recent old purchase, if that makes sense. I got the shade Deep 71 Warm. This is a shade that is super duper darker than my skin tone. However, there is no shade, or was no shade, in between this one and the ones above that would have worked for my skin. The other, I guess, aspect about like this era of the full face, full coverage beat is that the options weren't there like that. Like they had more shades, I guess, than in the past, but for sure, like I still had to play around with a few things. And like I said, that's why these days I do go for more of my skin tone, maybe slightly darker, but these days it's easier to find an exact match for me than it used to be. It's because I think they put like all lighter black women in one category, and then if you were deeper, they put you in like this specific category of like orangey foundations. But anyway, the point is, you know, this was an era where I did have to make foundations work, which is why I do not mind deeper shades. But this was a shade that I got for me, that worked the best with how I used to do my makeup. This is a matte foundation. Hold on one second, because we're not gonna sit here and do this. I don't even know where I was. Oh, Kat Von D. I remember this one, and I believe it was like the Urban Decay. Was it All Nighter? No. It was a, ooh, was it Urban Decay foundation? It was this one in the Urban Decay that were like those super thick, super full coverage matte foundations, and you either loved them or you hated them. I personally hated the Urban Decay one, but I did like this one. This was actually one of my first purchases when I really started getting into makeup. Yeah, nowadays, with all the controversies and the selling of the thing, and now it's KVD, vegan beauty, I'm just not into it. I haven't shopped KVD in a while, actually. Like, not even for the liners that I used to love. It's just one of those things that it's kind of, it's sad to see it go away based in like it being one of the first brands that I really was into for the artistry. I was holding on to it for nostalgia, I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't still wearing it after a while. I still have the Lock It primer, which I'm gonna keep until it's gone, and then that's kind of it. It's time to say goodbye to an era. So that's the end of that one. Now this is what I'm talking about, because even as I wipe, that Lock It foundation is set, boy. All right, so the next foundation is actually pretty recent, and I've done a video on it, and you guys can watch the video, and I don't know if I'm gonna get flack for this, but here we go. This is the Makeup by Mario, what is it, Surreal Skin Foundation. I got the color 18W. Now this color is not my shade for real, but it's a lot closer than the other shades that I've been wearing. As time has progressed, I think brands have gotten a lot better at kind of giving us nuances in the medium to tan to deep dark to dark shades, you know what I mean? This is a shade closer to my skin tone for sure. I think this might have even worked for my skin tone. There is a shimmer, like y'all can see that line of like demarcation right there, right? There's like a shimmery pearl in this foundation, and I hate it. The pearl on my skin makes the foundation look 10 times lighter, and it doesn't look like it matches, even though, like I said, this is a closer match without the pearl, if they would have left that out of it. There are people that can get away with these shimmers and that can get away with this foundation, and it looks flawless. I am not one of them. I was gonna keep it for like comparison purposes, whether it's color or whether it's whatever, and I just, every time I look at it, I get a little upset for how much I paid for it and how crappy it was and how much I thought it really was gonna work. So I'm just gonna go ahead and toss. We're done. We're done. You're done. This is the Urban Decay Stay Naked Hydro Maniac Tinted Glow Hydrator. This is in the shade 50 Medium. I think when I did this review, I had this one in a darker shade because I wasn't sure. And now this shade reminds me of the shades that I always used to get matched to that people thought I was. This is the shade that I actually use. This is the shade 60, and this is in medium dark. First of all, it's the shade jump for me, but this is what the shade looks like. And then 60 is right under, can y'all hold up? Cause I put that on there crazy. So we go from 50 to 60. You see what I'm saying? The one that I'm throwing away is 50 medium. I am keeping the deeper shade, of course. It is one of my more used products. I actually bought a backup to this because this is like a favorite of mine. The next thing I'm going to look at is bronzers. Okay. Now the first bronzer is from Patrick Ta. I wanted to love this so bad. I always love the packaging. I always love the look. I always love the sleekness, right? The Patrick Ta Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo. This is in She Sculpted. I actually bought this before they came out with any of the other shades that they came out with. I think he did like 2, maybe more. You know, I was trying to follow the idea of what Patrick does is he likes to do creams and powders and kind of layer. And I think it's a brilliant idea because his models end up looking gorgeous. All the things, right? However, this shade is like nothing on my skin tone, which is interesting because I even thought that with the cream and with the powder that it would kind of bump it up, so to speak. I do think it gets a little bit messy in total, especially for packaging that's this beautiful. Like, I do think it gets a little bit messy. The thing about it to me is me packing on a cool tone with the warm tone, it ends up looking a little bit muddy on my skin, and it doesn't bronze. It doesn't, it's like a light discolored blotch on my skin when I'm doing it. So it never quite worked out the way that I wanted. Like, and I played with this a few different ways. I don't know if like this together is necessary. Maybe if he did just the powder bronzers, I think that would be cool. Or like just the cream contours, like in the little like quads or something like that. I think that would be cool. But sometimes I think putting them together and trying to get them to match a variety of tones just doesn't quite work as well. I wanted to love this, and to be honest, it is a little bit too expensive for me to try to get the next shade and try it again. I have tons of bronzers, whether they be cream or powder. It's just one of those things that I feel like this is just not a staple for me. Speaking of cream bronzers, and I did a video on this as well. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Bronzer in Hazelnut. That beautiful color. It is a little bit oxidized within it, but this shade to me was like the most beautiful, like golden brown, perfect for the kind of bronzing that I like to do. The problem ended up being that the color didn't quite come out the same on my skin. It was more cool tone than it was warm, which was weird to me. And then on top of that, it was very splotchy, very muddy, very, you know. This I have kept, one, because I paid for it. But I've been trying to basically like find other ways to use it. I think she still has these. I'm not 100% sure. They might be discontinued. I would not be surprised. All right, the next one is also from Anastasia. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Powder Bronzo in Cappuccino. And this is what that shade looks like. Now, there's actually nothing wrong with this bronzer. It's just not my type of bronzer anymore. I like my bronzers to be on the warm side. I like colors like this, and that's Juvia's Place Caramel, and that's a cream bronzer. That's what I thought the cream bronzer from Anastasia was gonna look like. Don't judge me, I'm gonna replace it at the Sephora sale. This is the Sunstalker from Fenty. Ooh. And this is in Beijing Gal. I like colors that are nice and warm. I know not everybody likes orangey, but sometimes depending on what I'm doing with my makeup, I don't mind a little bronzy orange for my skin tone specifically. And this is one of those bronzers that lean a little bit more reddy bronze, which there's nothing wrong with. I know I can get away with. I feel like in this time they didn't have a lot of differentiation in undertone, right? I think the beauty industry has kind of learned differently these days, and that's why we have so many different undertones in bronzers, which we did not have before. So like I said, this one leaves a little bit more red, as well as the next one that I'm gonna show. And for me, I just have so many that I always reach for, and just keeping it is more for nostalgic purposes. And same with this one. This is the Bobbi Brown bronzing powder. I used to use this all the time, and that's like as red on my skin tone as it gets. And like I said, at the time that that I purchased this, I just didn't have a ton of bronzing options. My voice keeps cracking. It's almost time for me to be done. But yeah, so I didn't have a lot of bronzing options. I do think that this is a beautiful formula. I just feel like option wise, it's just, I've kind of graduated from like that ready bronzer to like more of like just a you know, sun-kissed. You know what I mean? Like a closer to my skin sun-kissed type of situation. All right, so let's go to another newer product. Oh boy, I despise this. Huda Beauty has one of my favorite, if not my favorite. I'll say this, I have two powders, loose powders, that I use religiously, right? If all goes bad and they're about to discontinue, I will cop 100 of each, right? I love the Laura Mercier translucent powder in honey. It used to be in regular translucent, but once they got the honey, perfect. And I love the Huda Beauty Easy Bake loose powder in Blondie. I also use the shade Peach Pie, which is newer. I love that shade depending on what I want to do. Love Peach Pie, but Blondie was the shade. And for some reason, for at least a year or two, I could not find Blondie. I've realized now that they've kind of upgraded the packaging. So it's kind of like that squoval, not squoval, I guess it's more like a square round, whatever you want to call it. It's square with the rounded edges shape, and it kind of looks a little bit different. I think you even get a little bit less product. But yeah, so they upgraded their packaging, and so Blondie is now back. But before they did that, I couldn't find the loose powders. I could not, because I was even gonna get Pound Cake, which is the next lighter shade. Couldn't even find that. So I picked up the Easy Bake and Snatch from Huda Beauty. I'm going to keep it a buck. This is trash. I am not saying that to be rude. I am not saying that to be controversial. I like to use powders a few different ways, right? Especially when they're like compact. The first way I tried it was how I would use my regular Easy Bake powder. Because it says Easy Bake and the Easy Bake loose powder wasn't available, I was like, maybe it's interchangeable. It is not. This one is a little bit more sheer, so it's not necessarily for that. Cool, not a big deal. I'll use my Laura Mercier. I'll use this as a like brightening powder on top of, right? Doesn't do anything. It is the sheerest of the sheerest of the sheerest of the nothing. It's nothing. It doesn't do anything. And I definitely tried this, kind of like how I do my Charlotte Tilbury, the lighter powder. I just kind of press in to get that smooth brightening on top of. Lady Gaga has a loose setting powder that's like not quite meant to be under the eye like that, but it is good for like setting, whether you want to glow, whether you want to blur, whatever you're going for. And this just doesn't do anything. It reminds me a long time ago I tried the Laura Mercier Press Compact. Same thing. This is the same thing of sheer nothingness. And I've kept it because I've always wanted to put it in a video. It's going in the trash because I truly believe this is trash. Now, if it works for somebody else, that is awesome. If there's other ways that people have used it, awesome. I know some people use it to kind of sharpen up. That's where I think the Snatch comes in. Great. This is trash. I have some concealers, not too many. So this is the Dose of Colors Meet Your Hue Concealer. I have this in 22 Dark. The Meet Your Hue range is a nice range. I do think they have a nice shade range, albeit a little bit hard to understand because you can't go in a store and necessarily swatch it. And so online, it's a little bit difficult to tell. Basically, you got people in lighting, you have to take pictures, and then it's like, it's hard to figure out exactly what your shade would be. But this concealer, along with the foundation, is matte. It does dry out my under eye a lot, and it could be like just the difference of me getting a little bit older and I have a little bit more wrinkles under the eyes, but this just does not work for me like it did. I am curious to know with the new reformulation or rebranding of it, if it's going to be a little bit lighter on that, you know, especially like I said, we're in a time where like light glowy makeup is the thing. So I wonder kind of how they're going to work that. I'll do a video on it if I decide to pick it up, and maybe I'll compare and see what happens there. But yeah, this is a goner. I also have the Benefit Boing Cakeless Concealer. I don't even know why I picked this up. Outside of me purchasing it, trying it, and then trying it again, and then never picking it up again, that's it. It is what it is on this. I don't have an opinion. It's just, it's not. It is what it is. It's just going in the trash. Don't even know why I got it. I think it was the gimmick of like the eraser. It's like, maybe I thought it was cute. Anyway, I don't know. The next thing, this is a MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre, right? I got this because I watched Savannah Silver. And Savannah Silver swears by these as far as like putting them in your smile lines, letting it sit, and then doing your makeup, smile lines gone, right? Cool, and it does work for her. She loves it. Dope. However, girl, no. Girl, no. I think for me these days, I either embrace the smile lines or just look for foundations that kind of blur it as best they can. This, however, did nothing. And then I did try it as concealer or like a primer on my eyelids, all the things, and it's just like, what is this? It's not my favorite. This is going in the trash. It doesn't do anything for me in any way, shape, or form. So that's a no. Last two things One is current and one is old. Do y'all remember Buxom? Are they still around? This is so old. This is embarrassing. I've still held on to them because like I love them. All right, so this is the Buxom. I think it's called Vava Plump. Yeah, the Vava Plump lip glosses. I don't even like plumping lip glosses. I don't like the way they feel. To me, I love my lips, so I don't need them to be any like bigger or plumper or any other things, right? But I used to love these. So this is in the shade, I'll show you all the colors that I got, but this is in Lights Down, and it's like this beautiful peachy pink, which that used to be my nude shade. Doesn't matter what I was doing, a peachy pink and a red. Those are my two. I still kind of mess with like the peachy pinks, but I play around with browns a lot more. I play around with bronzes a lot more, that kind of thing. So then the next shade is Boldly Go, which is a red. Oh, and then this is Honeydew. This one's like a real peachy pink one. Let me see. Yeah. These are the three shades that I have. It's so like, it's nostalgia. Now these are like one of those almost matte type lip glosses, but they are like a plumping. So it is like that menthol type situation. And now when I first got it, this used to be my shade. I wore this all the time with either, I think it was BFF 2 or 3 from Colourpop, and I would also wear it with the Kylie Cosmetics Brown Sugar, which the Brown Sugar liner to this day is still one of my favorite liners, and so is BFF 3. But anyway, this shade used to be my nude shade. I wore this out. And then this is the red that I really liked. I don't even like shiny red lips. I don't. If I use a red lip, it's usually matte just because I love the way red matte looks on me. Sometimes the shinier shades bug me. I don't know, it's something about them. Like, I'll wear it, but it's not like my favorite, if that makes sense. But yeah, these right here, boy, this might have been discontinued years ago. And I have not worn these in years. But I keep, like, every time I've redone my makeup room or cleaned my makeup room or purged, I never get rid of these. And I don't know why, because I have not used them. I haven't. But even looking at them now, it's so nostalgic. Look at those. Those are some pretty colors. Like this right here. They're so beautiful. And as you can see, like I said, there's like a shine to them, but it's not like this overt, glossy, you know, over the top shine, which is maybe why I liked it so much. It was like a good balance between a matte moisture type of situation with like the smallest hint of shine, you know what I mean? I do miss how these made me feel, because I can feel it coming back. And I think these are now probably, well, not even think, these are way expired, and I think they've done away with them overall. And I don't think that like the me today would rock this just because, again, I don't even do menthol on my lips. I don't like the burning or any of it, but it was a time. It was a time. It was a time. A time was had. Okay, last for this video, but definitely not least, is something from Fenty Beauty. These are the slip shines from Fenty. I got two shades. One is Tang Thang, and it's like this really pretty orangey bomb shine, right? Which I thought would be like the cutest just on like a beach day, a nice little orange bomb tint. And then the other one is Glazed Up, which I'll put it on this side, which is that one. Again, they're sheer. They can be packed onto a little bit more of a popsicle lip. To me, there's something about having a balm this slippy, because it does feel like it's that. I don't like that. And that's what it feels like on my lip. It feels balmy, but like the texture just doesn't do it for me. It doesn't quite, you know how some balms kind of alleviate the lines on your lips? Some balms, like if your lips are peeling or something, are really dry, some balms really do soothe that, and it's almost like a layer on top that penetrates. This doesn't do that. And I'm not saying that it should. It is a balm, so maybe it should. But like for me, it doesn't do what I need it to do. I feel like I wanted these to be like a butter balm that you kind of glide on top that gives you the shine, little bit of that color, little bit almost like a wet gloss effect is what I kind of wanted, if that makes sense, but in like a little lipstick. And I feel like for some that I've seen it on, that's what it does. Looks gorgeous. It don't do that on me. It sticks into every single line. It's not flattering, and I end up just wiping it off every time. And like I said, I don't love the texture. It's that it is buttery in a sense that it's easily movable, which also, I don't know, it kind of gives me the ick sometimes. It's just weird. It's a weird formula for me personally. And like I said, it sticks into every line. If my lips are a little bit too chapped, even if I exfoliate, it looks crazy on me. And it sucks because she came out with some new colors that I've seen that look gorgeous, like the icy purples and these oh god, she has one, it's called Icy Amethyst. It is beautiful, but I hate the formula. So I can't go for it. All right, that's gonna be it for today. I still have an entire bag full of stuff, but I feel like I've been talking for 2 hours. In this day and age, we have a lot of like buy. Like I said, the Sephora VIB sale is going on literally right now. And I even have my list, and I figured today, instead of doing like a list of the I'm gonna get and maybe you should get, I was thinking maybe we do like a, these are all the things that I bought that I don't use. Keep that in mind. But with that being said, like, I hope that this has de-influenced in some way, for as much as I tell y'all how much I like a lot of foundations, products, lip glosses. I love makeup, y'all know, and I am an enabler. So I really hope that I can make amends by doing this kind of video. That being said, like I said, I still have a Sephora cart, and I'm still gonna get stuff. Y'all know Pat McGrath got a new eyeshadow palette out. Y'all know I'm finna get that. You know I'm finna get that. 20% off of her palette. See, this is me doing the thing. Now I'm gonna leave before I influence more, okay? Anyway, guys, I know I just kind of popped on here for some random video, but I hope you guys are doing well. I don't remember my outro, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's been a minute. Girl's been going through a lot of mental, emotional growth and all of the things. So with that being said, like, I do hope to see you guys more. I am trying to like plan out actual videos and figure out how to be more consistent within my day-to-day life. I have the time, I just have to figure out how to make it work. You know what I mean? And that's on me. But I do feel like I'm in a better place mentally, physically, emotionally, all the things to bring y'all a lot of positivity into y'all's homes. You know what I mean? But anyway, guys, I love y'all so much. I appreciate y'all just coming here and kicking it with me and just talking about makeup. As obscure as it seems at this day and age, we gotta have something. You know what I mean? But you know, like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video if the mood so suits your spirit. Turn on your notifications as well, because apparently your girl just be sporadic with it. But anyway, I hope you guys have a blessed day. I love y'all so much, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.